today, Sean, President Biden held a press conference on the economy. And honestly, the numbers aren't looking good. A lot of Americans are still struggling. Take a listen.
24 million adults and 12 million children literally don't have enough food to eat.
But Sean, the left's approach to getting us out of this economic downfall is by handing out money for everyone.
Sure.
Senator Cory Booker reintroduced a bill to give all newborn babies a $1,000 savings account. And every year, up to $2,000 would be deposited into each child's account, depending on the total family income until the recipient turns 18. You know, it's an attempt to close the racial wealth gap. To discuss, let's bring in our company, political strategist Sari Kim and healthcare analyst Seth Denson. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
All right. I feel like I'm on Oprah and this is like, you get a car, you get a car. I mean, honestly, I actually like this idea. I actually think it's a good idea.
Who doesn't? No, I don't want $1,000. Dad, you keep
I've
the
got
1,000.
3 kids.
See? Right? You know what? Honestly, I feel like this could help with the abortion crisis, though. But, you know, is this the right time for this? When our economy is struggling, as we heard, you know, Biden say, we saw jobs numbers come out yesterday. They're a little bit better. But what we need to do is open up the economy, not just hand out stipends to every person who's having a child. You know, Seth, this is like the approach from the left. It's just give more money and the well will never go dry.
Well, here's the problem, right? I mean, Americans really don't want handouts. They want opportunity. And if Senator Booker really wanted to bridge the racial divide, he should probably take a page out of Donald Trump's book, who provided the black community with the lowest unemployment level in the history of our nation, right? Again, we need opportunity. And don't get me wrong, as I mentioned, I got 3 kids. I'll take all I can get, but I realize 2 key things, right? One is you eventually run out of other people's money, so you're putting this burden on the backs of other generations. And second, I really think this is more of an environmental issue, because if we keep printing all this money, we're gonna lose all our trees. So maybe this is more of an environmental issue.
Yeah, maybe it should be, you know, we should put this in the climate bucket, Sari. It is interesting,
hey,
though.
They listen to the environment. I'm an environmentalist now.
Clearly. But no one ever talks about what this is going to do to your wallet and to the taxpayer's wallet when they just talk about giving everyone free stuff.
Well,
Sari?
that's absolutely right. Yeah, go ahead, Siri.
No, that's absolutely right. But I think what Cory Booker lacks is just basic common sense when it comes to money. I mean, what the Senate and the House both failed to realize in the CARES Act and the subsequent bill giving out $500 for childcare, the average cost of childcare a week in America is $1,200 a week. If you give a parent $1,000 for a child being born, that's not going to get them anywhere. So I think the real issue for Senator Cory Booker is, does he know how to do math? Because simple math will show that $1,000 is nothing.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I think that he would answer, so that's a good start. My point is, though, that I mean, one, debt-wise, we're just continuing to build up debt that, frankly, China continues to buy. This is not sustainable. Everything can't be free. You can't have free education, free cable, $1,000 here. That's not how it works. We're not a society. We're not an economy that can allow this to happen. Seth, there's now a story out that Democrats are talking about upping the amount of student loan forgiveness to $50,000 a student. That's 36 million borrowers would be debt free. And look, we can have a discussion about the cost of education, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, people made choices, right? There's a lot of people who said, you know what, I'm going to go to a tech school because I can't afford that. Or, you know what, I'm going to go to a state school versus Harvard because we can afford this more. So to turn around after the fact and say, hey, guess what? We're going to wipe away all your debt. And oh, by the way, we're not wiping it away. We're just going to pay for it through other people's tax dollars. That's not fair, because people made a decision about where they went to school or their other educational choices based on what they could afford. And this is literally the most irresponsible message that we could be sending to students, which is, don't worry about it. Somebody else will wipe out that debt.
Well, it goes beyond fair, right? If we can look back economically, anytime the federal government gets involved in anything, the cost goes up. And the left is notorious for this, right? We can look at the Affordable Care Act. It didn't address the cost of health care. It just gave away free health insurance. And so what has happened? Health care has grown since the passage of the ACA 3 times the CPI. And so the same thing could be happening for colleges here. If you don't address the high cost of college tuition, which, by the way, has more than doubled since the 80s, it's going to continue to do that because now they know the federal government's going to subsidize it.
Well, this is kind of like the immigration thing. If you can get in, don't worry, we'll be fine. Sir, there's a point, though, in which fundamentally you can't just give everything for free. And because I mean, what's next? Everyone gets a car? I mean, what else can't you give for free? Because at some point, the handouts are just, they're tripping over themselves on the left to figure out what else can I give you that will ingratiate you to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Sean. Like people, both sides of the aisle, they don't want to give away free things. But I think as Republicans, we have to be very conscientious of focusing on deficit spending when for the last 4 years, we've been operating in a deficit. I think what people want from Washington, D.C., what people want from the political conversation is they just want consistency. Nobody wants free things that other people had to work hard to obtain. Just like nobody wants the government to continue to spend money as if it just was going to be a bottomless well from China. And so I think for us, as we look to regain the House and the Senate in 2022 and the presidency in 2024, we just need to be consistent about how we spend and why we spend.
You know, but Siri, I'm going to push back on you a little because I think people, like Seth was joking, but it's true. If someone comes up to you and says, would you like $1,000? The average person is going to go, no, you know what? I don't want it because it's going to affect my grandkids and how much they have to pay in 30 or 40 or 50 years. People are going to take it. And the problem is the Democrats are promising things that aren't true. They're saying it's free. It's not free. And that's the thing is they're selling something that's not a truth.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats are. I don't know where we're going to get $2,000 a person, just like I don't know where we're going to get $1,000 for a saving plan. I don't know where we're going to get free college tuition, but both sides of the aisle have been promising free things for a long time. And I think it's really important for me as a Republican, as we look at 40 years of hopefully more Republican control, is that we continue to diminish and shrink the size of government. If we don't want there to be large student loan packages, it should be back in the days of our grandparents where they just had to work their way through schools or simply put a cap on the amount of money that you can borrow from the federal government. There are simple solutions that have nothing to do with forgiveness or free money.
Right.
Yeah. All right, well, this is a big discussion. We'll have to talk about it more, but a little reprieve. It's Friday. That means the company quiz is coming at you next. Don't go away.
All right, it's Friday. Welcome back. You know what that means, hopefully, if you've been tuning in for a while. It's time for our company quiz. If you're new, here's how it works. I'll take some stories making headlines in the news and ask related trivia questions. Back with us, our company, Republican strategist and attorney, Sari Kim, and reigning champion and healthcare analyst and previous champion, Seth Denson, and also previous champion, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is,
you for that.
this is a rock star lineup we got here.
This is like the
No
champions.
pressure.
Hey, you got Texas
like,
in the
This
house
is like,
tonight.
this
Just
is like
saying, you got
the
Texas
Ken
in the
Jennings
house.
round, if we will. Or, all right, let me kick this off with question 1. February, as we've been noting, is Black History Month. We just talked to Byron Daniels, congressman from Florida, about this, and we want to honor an important historical figure who paved the way for so many. Hiram Rhodes Revels, he was the first African-American to serve in the U.S. Senate. Which state did he represent? A, Georgia, B, Tennessee, C, North Carolina, or D, Mississippi? Let's see those letters, guys. Siri, what is that? A B.
It's a B.
All right. Thank you. Okay, well, it didn't matter because they're all wrong. That's right. It was Mississippi. Yeah, he was born in North Carolina and became a Republican senator from 1870 to 1871 when he represented Mississippi during Reconstruction. All right, question 2. African-American scientist and mathematician Benjamin Banneker is credited with helping design the blueprints for Washington, D.C. He is famous for many things, but what famous event did he predict correctly? A, the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799, B, the solar eclipse of 1789, C, the invention of the steam engine in 1765, and D, the Industrial Revolution of 1760. Now, if you know when Pierre L'Enfant designed Washington, D.C., that at least will probably narrow it down, but not sure how well you all are in your architecture. All right, let's see what letters you got up there. Everyone stuck with B. Everyone is right. That's right. The solar eclipse of 1789, he began making astronomical calculations that enabled him to successfully forecast a solar eclipse. His estimate, made well in advance of the celestial event, contradicted predictions of better-known mathematicians and astronomers. All right, moving on. With a tie 1-1-1 all around. Question 3, earlier this week, we spoke to Chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, Ronna McDaniel. The RNC was established 2 years after the creation of the modern Republican Party in an effort to aid the presidential campaign of former Republican candidate John C. Fremont. Which former president actually won the election that year? Was it A, James Buchanan, B, Franklin Pierce, C, Andrew Johnson, or D, Abraham Lincoln? Again, if you know your years, this probably will help you out just a bit. Who won the election that year? Let's get those letters up. Wow, the ladies, here we go, pulling out in front. That's right, James Buchanan in a three-way election. Democrat James Buchanan defeated Republican nominee John C. Fremont and the nominee of the, and this is for real, the Know Nothing Party, Millard Fillmore. All right, Seth is looking a little nervous there as we head into question 4.
I know, right? I'm not used to losing.
All right, question 4. Yesterday, we heard from Chef Jeff Tracy. He's the owner of several great restaurants here in Washington, D.C., including Chef Jeff's. But he also, his group owns Tortilla Coast up on Capitol Hill. He talked to us about how the pandemic has affected small businesses like the ones that he's involved with. One of the famous appetizers on the Tortilla Coast menu are the Bone Daddy Nachos. What type of cheese was first served on the very first nachos? Was it A, cheddar, B, Monterey Jack, C, Colby, or D, Gruyere? That's French, I think. A language which I didn't take, so probably screw this up. So let's get those letters up. Well, the culinary arts expertise, Sari Kim, strikes again. Oh. That's right. Sari, did you know the answer to that, or did you just do the, I'm going to guess C every time?
I did from my food reviewer days. Yes.
That's right.
Oh,
You're a wine
yeah.
connoisseur as well. That's right.
That.
Yeah, Ignacio El Nacho Enyanya is largely credited with creating the first ever nachos in 1940. His original nachos consisted of fried corn tortilla chips covered with melted Colby cheese and sliced jalapeno peppers. All right, Siri has a 3-2-1 lead. Seth, play along at least.
Two more questions, Sean. Two more questions. We got time for 2.
All right. Speaking, all right, we're going to continue. This may help out Sari, though. Speaking of nachos, millions of Americans will be tuning in to watch Super Bowl 55 this weekend, and I'm sure there'll be some nachos here and there. The Kansas City Chiefs will go head-to-head with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's only been a few years since quarterback for the Bucs, Tom Brady of Patriots fame, has played in a Super Bowl, but it's actually been 18 years since the Kansas City Chiefs had played in the big game. Which team did they beat the last time they went to the Super Bowl? Was it A, the Denver Broncos, B, the Pittsburgh Steelers, C, the New York Giants, or D, the Oakland Raiders?
In the old AFC.
Let's get those letters up. Siri, this is yours to lose. No one gets it right. Siri Kim wins it. Yep, that's right. The Oakland Raiders. The rivalry between the Raiders and the Chiefs goes way back to the 1980s. But in 2009, the Chiefs did beat them 16-10. Siri Kim, 2 in a row. That's amazing.
Kenny Jennings, here I come.
Congratulations.
That's right.
All right, you win one more. You can get for a prize.
One more, you win a special prize. Guys, thanks for playing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you back soon.
Have
Seth,
a great weekend.
Study hard.
Great
You used to be
weekend.
so.
study
You used to
harder, right?
study a lot
I know.
more.
I used to win.
Yeah, that's when you study.
happened
You're
to
slacking. You're slacking there, Denson.
Hey, you
I'll
have
be
played
back.
against
I'll be
Sari.
back.
I know.
So
Sari's
good
coming
lineup.
for game. All right.